Tradespoon and Yellow Tunnel. My name is Vlad Karpel. I'm CEO and founder of both companies, and today we're going to have a live trading room open to trade stock and options using our technology. For those of you who are new, welcome. If this is your first live event, do me a favor, tap in first. Always want to welcome new subscribers. This is my brief disclosures. If this is the first time you see this screen, I encourage you to visit optionscreen.com to understand the risk associated with trading stock and options. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not registered with FINRA nor SEC. I'm showing you what I do in my own account based on my own risk tolerance level for general education and information purposes only. Disclosures are very important. Please read them. Trading stock and options. Trading psychology is very important. I encourage you to have a trading plan and keep a trading journal. In your trading plan, I would document the goals. It's all about compounding investment, right? Just remember that setting clearly defined, achievable goals are very important. And remember that 0.5%, 1% a day, a week might not seem like a lot of return on your investment, but over a year, over a few years, it compounds, and that's how wealth gets created, right? So set well-defined, achievable goals. If you're new to trading, usually it's the opposite, right? When you experience, you take less risk. When you less experience, you take more risk. It should be the opposite. If S&P on average returns 7 to 10%, try to beat S&P your first year of trading. If you can do that, you're a superstar. And then, just keep raising the bar, right? Set the goals, every month, try to make 1-2% when you just start trading. And that would be the goal. And then risk management. How much money are you willing to risk to get to that goal, right? Obviously, the higher the goal, the higher the risk. For full-time income, you would have to basically do day trading, right? In terms of risk management, I propose to have 20-30% of your portfolio in cash. Market continues to go higher from seasonality perspective. Usually markets go higher. This is where you might want to decrease your cash holding, right? Maybe if you were 30 now, you want to be 20, right? If you were 20, maybe you want to be 15, right? But that would be the goal. And look at the portfolio drawdown, right? Number of positions times position size, right? 4 positions, 2.5% of account value per position is at risk. So when you start trading, I propose not to risk more than 10% of your portfolio. Happy Tuesday, Russell. And wait for 2 to 3 days to confirm the trend change. Right now, we're short-term maximum momentum, right? We haven't had this type of momentum for a very long time, right? After 10% drawdown in the market, you're making new highs. That's, we haven't seen that in the past 50 years, some say all time. Irrelevant. Short-term is very strong uptrend, right? Medium, long-term, kind of a weaker, but still an uptrend. So at least for short-term to break down the trend, I would wait 2 to 3 days of making lower lows, lower highs to say, okay, because of the earnings season or because of the escalation in the Middle East, because they can reach an agreement, then the trend is changing. But until then, the trend is higher highs and higher lows. All right, let's take a look at the pre-market. Slightly higher. Trump, I think, had an interview on CNBC, so the market was reacting. 10-year yield is kind of right below 430. It's not making new lows, but it's still below 430. So, you can argue on both sides. Some people say, well, for the rally to continue, you need to be at 4%. Maybe. right? But for the sell-off to accelerate, you need to be at 4.5, right? So right now we're kind of in the middle of that zone. Dollar is also pulled back in the middle of the range, so I think that's supportive. The VIX 19 handle, right? Still below 20. Value stocks pre-market slightly higher. Semiconductors 40 basis points higher. Spiders 20 basis. I think we were higher pre-market. Future thing to pull back. I don't know what Trump said exactly to cause the market to pull back, but irrelevant. Basically reached all-time, retested all-time high again. Did not post a new high, but retested. Darvan, welcome back. It's been a while. Let me know if you have any questions. Glad people are coming back after a short break. So that's good. Crude oil is elevated, but off the highs, off the lows too. I think the deadline, right? I think it's coming tomorrow on the 2-week ceasefire. So we'll see if they can. I assume they're going to push the deadline further out, right? And I assume if they don't and start bombing Iran or bombing the infrastructure, then crude oil is going to go higher and market is going to go lower. Right now, that's not the expectation. Not in bond market, not in equity market, but we'll see. Things can change quickly. And SPX is above 77,000, right? That's the main support. If you look at the model, it hasn't changed in terms of predictions. Support 707, overhead resistance 714. Still an uptrend, 4%, right? So momentum hasn't really changed. And basically, if there is no escalation in the Middle East and earnings are within expectation, the passive list resistance is higher highs, higher lows. I would be buyer on the pullbacks because market is overbought. Today, in aggressive power trader, we have Delta Airline, Dell, Goldman Sachs, and PVH. So I do see broadening of the rally, and more stocks are generating momentum, like PVH, right? Apparel, footwear, very strong momentum. We had Target breakout yesterday, also had a support. So consumer discretionary retail stocks are going higher. Goldman Sachs continues to grind higher despite missing the earnings on some of the bond trading, but still continues to go higher. Morgan Stanley continues to go higher, and then we have Dell and Delta Airline. Dell is breaking out, definitely part of the AI, and you can see a clean breakout. Same thing was the last week, STX, right? WDC. These are AI theme is still intact. Not all stocks, not all stocks are breaking out, like Palantir still underperforming. Microsoft is still underperforming. Amazon, I think they're investing more into Claude, Anthropic AI, and Amazon retesting all-time highs, right? So Amazon is doing well. We have a new CEO in Apple, almost at all-time high. So obviously you have to be selective. Oh, we don't see your screen. Sorry, happy Tuesday. No, you should. Oh, that is weird. No, apologies. Let's see. Why is it not sharing? Pause sharing. Share something else. Let's see. Screen. Share. You still see the trading plan, right? Why is this not done? Let's do it again. Stop sharing. Share screen. I had technology issues. Screen number 1. Share. Okay. That is weird. I've never seen anything like that. Okay, you should be able to see it. Martin, let me know if you see it. I'm on Apple. Thank you. Okay, so let's do this again. Sorry about that. So stock forecast, you see it, okay. Stock forecast toolbox support at 707, overhead resistance at 714. I'm surprised nobody else is complaining. Okay. 707 support, 714 overhead resistance, still an uptrend according to stock forecast toolbox. Sorry, 10-year yield. I was talking about 10-year yield. That's slightly higher, but still below 430. Dollar continues to pull back in the middle of the range, so that's good. VIX is 19. That's positive. Value stocks doing a catch-up trade, not at all-time high, but approaching all-time high. So you do have a broadening of participation. Small caps continue to make new all-time highs. So you do have momentum in small caps that continues on. Technology today flat. Let's see what else we have. Emerging markets slightly higher at all-time high. Bitcoin is still pretty weak. S&P mini off its high, but it retested all-time high in pre-market session. So we're still trading at near all-time high. Crude oil pulled back, right? Ceasefire supposed to, I think they're still negotiating, and I think the deadline is tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll see how it works. I just got filled on Citigroup. You should have got a text message. So Citigroup continues to grind higher. That was one of the trade alerts. This is a position from Friday, I believe. Right, so Citigroup got filled, half of the position at 134.10. This was a trade from Friday. It's a nice move, 2% up in short period of time. So model gets an A for Citigroup. Let's see what else is there. Give me 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so Citigroup continues to grind higher. This, you can see it in Dynamic Power Trader or Profit Accelerator. If you look under orders, you can add SMS message, type in your phone number to get SMS messages. Please be sure to do that. And just a reminder to look at the recordings if you guys don't have time to be in the live trading room, because that's where the rest of the positions are explained. All right, so Citigroup, exit half of the position. Let's see what else in terms of, and then we talked about, let's just review again the signals. In active trader, you can find them in active trader or in aggressive power trader. Delta Airline continues to grind higher. The risk is energy prices, so that's kind of, momentum is behind data Delta Airline, but it's all depends on the outcome of these negotiations that have a deadline tomorrow. Short term, Dell continues to grind higher, so definitely something in a strong uptrend. And then Goldman Sachs continues to grind higher. That's good. And PVH, right? Apparel also continues to. How's TJX? Is it recovering? TJX is not going anywhere. Okay. Okay. So those are the signals. And then in terms of positions, if you did the earnings, we were talking about not a lot of names were liquid. Halliburton, right? The 40 strike, we didn't get to that 40 strike. So this is the time, if you did the call spread yesterday, I didn't do it in the earnings power trader, but I did do it in my personal account. That was the only trade. I didn't do the General Electric because it's didn't have a lot of liquidity. Let's see, close. So there's a lot of positioning at 40 strike, right? We were talking about yesterday. So let's look at that again. I mean, obviously, any news from the Middle East will impact Halliburton, but at least for now, the 40 strike could act as a magnet, right? It could act as a magnet because so many contracts, so many people, right, that have open position at the 40 strike, and the dealers have to buy the stocks on the pullback, right, to be delta neutral, to be gamma neutral. So, maybe either close the short call or buy, stock with the idea that it might gravitate over the 40 strike. G is down one. I did not do that. Cisco down 30 basis points. TGX is up slightly. Microsoft slightly up. Amazon, Apple slightly down. And let's see what else. Small caps are still up. Spiders flat. QQQ flat. Okay. I guess everyone is waiting for the outcome of the. All right, so that's Halliburton in terms of earnings. Let's see anything else interesting from earnings. So we talked about GE. Off the session lows, but still losing momentum, right? Weak stock. One of the leaders last year. Underperformed. UNH up 10%. So United Healthcare Group was the Medicare and higher payments. Looks like up 10%. So healthcare. I think Signal was the signal. Yeah, in today. RTX, so how aerospace and defense are doing, down 1%. NOC down 4%. Not doing well because they're waiting for determining what weapons the U.S. government is going to buy. Triple M is up 4%, so that's good. And DHR, Corporation Medical Specialty, not going anywhere. And how the home builders doing? DR Horton up 7%. So DR Horton is doing well. Home builders. Okay. So those are the earnings. Synchrony Financial. Let's see, Synchrony Financial. Credit cards are uneventful. Okay, those are the highlights of the earnings. Questions? Darwin, hello. Let me know if you have any questions. Welcome back. You guys hear me on Discord? Everything's okay? Should be sharing screen, and let's see. And the volume should be okay. Okay, let's keep going. Other positions. Let's just review the other positions. So ADI, I do have a position in ADI. Let's look at that. This was a trade from yesterday. Continues to grind higher, 380. So almost posted new high. For now, holding ADI. Citigroup have trimmed half of the position. Cisco, right? So I do have Cisco position. I mean, it's trying to break out through the all-time high. So I'm still in the Cisco trade. JetQ, a lot of technology name. Need to diversify away from technology. JetQ continues to grind higher. Pays a monthly dividend, so I'm going to hold that position. And then Microsoft. I will close TJX. It's not going here. Microsoft is up 0.5%. We close TJX, so let me close TJX. It's not going anywhere. I'm gonna exit TJX $60. TJX. Okay, so I'm out of TJX. So those are all the positions. let's keep going. So we talked about value stocks are still trying to do a catch up, but going higher. Software continues to grind higher, facing a lot of big overhead resistance. Right at that 90 strike, right? So we're approaching kind of a major decision point. If this is just a rally inside of the bear market for software, right? Which could be, or we're gonna have a breakout. I mean, probably will depend on earnings. Twilio was a good trade, good signal from last week. That's actually close to 2025. I mean, probably not all time high. It's still doing a lot of catch-up trade from 22. But nonetheless, it's continues to grind higher. So that was a good signal. Oracle, Microsoft. So a lot of software companies are doing the catch-up trade, kind of facing earnings. We have Intel this week, continues to grind higher. We have Tesla. It's kind of been underperforming. And Texas Instruments. Those are the main tech stock. Texas Instruments are actually breaking out. Continues to grind higher. Any questions? All right. So talked about ADI, chemicals, catching a bit, right? CF, LYB, energy-related names are kind of a pause waiting for the ceasefire decision, ceasefire deadline. Morgan Stanley is doing well, up 1%. Okay. What else? Let's look at some of the more volatile high beta stocks. So data processing, I ran still facing the downtrend, kind of waiting for the earnings. Rare earth metals are catching a bit finally, and you have a strong rally in rare earth metal processing, supercomputers, quantum computers. I mean, similar price pattern to software and AI. Pelletier, same price pattern. Affirm is doing better, same price pattern, but continues to grind higher. That's good. Tempus, same price pattern, kind of doing a catch-up trade. So Schwab's is catching a bit. Energy, nuclear energy, uranium, almost at all-time high. What else is interesting today? Netflix continues to be weak. Very large position at 90, so it continues to grind to 90. After the earnings, Amazon trying to break through all-time highs. Small caps, you do have nice price action in mid cap and small caps, and they're leading. In 401k, I would gravitate toward small caps and mid caps. Software, emerging markets, energy slightly higher, Cisco flat, Citigroup, Microsoft, and IDI pulling back. Okay. All right, any questions? Claude, Faith, Fred, Jerry, Kevin, Lalit, Larissa, Louis, Martin, Mr. Simon, Nathan, Patrick, Peter, Tahir, Thomas, Bill, Bob. All right. Discord, thank you for joining. Mark, Russell, Cherry Blossom, Harriet Muffin. What happened to Darwin? Done again. Okay. 8:56. Let's see. Any macroeconomic data? Well, we do have that ceasefire. I would keep an eye on that agreement. And retail sales are a little bit better than expected in March, so that's positive. If PMI manufacturing data been stronger than expected, that's tomorrow. That's about it. FOMC interest rate decision. Okay, that's next. So next Wednesday we have interest rate decision. I assume no new information since Powell term is about to come to an end. Microsoft. Halliburton is kind of in the middle of the range. Microsoft looks like trying to recover. Amazon still trying to break out through all-time high. SPX is close to all-time high of the interest rates. Ten-year yield. Dollar. Stay in the same level. Equal weighted S&P is doing better. Technology is grinding higher. Small caps. Spiders. That's about it. All right, any questions? All right, if there are no other questions, then that's all I have for today. Thank you for joining. We do have a closing bell today at 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern. Keith will do the closing bell. Keith will be there for the morning bell, and I will do the closing bell tomorrow as we start doing more earnings. Thank you very much, and have a great day.